host, Bobby Braceface, with my boy
Fly Frankie T here. What's going on?
And we are here recording. This is the Frankie Jay Political Talk show. We're live right now, and we have some very important things to talk about.
Man, that debate, bro. That debate was crazy.
Yes, this is like the first big presidential debate of 2020. Joe Biden versus Donald Trump.
Oh man,
this was the main event.
Chris Wallace was the moderator.
Yeah,
man.
he did an alright job. You
know what? It's crazy. You know what's the craziest thing is I like to watch after the debates, the spin room, right? Because when you see the stark difference, like you had people saying that Chris Wallace wasn't a good moderator.
Right.
I thought he was a pretty decent moderator because he wouldn't let Trump get away. But I think
he wouldn't let him get away with stuff. Trump definitely pulled it. He spoke over everybody. But one thing I did kind of notice that, Trump, it seems like Trump doesn't really respect anybody. But he did kind of listen a little bit.
Yeah, because Chris Wallace does that on Fox though. He doesn't let Donald Trump do anything on Fox at all.
Okay.
So when he comes on Fox and he won't lie, Chris Wallace is the same way on Fox as the moderator does. Like, no, answer my question. If I ask you about whatever, if I ask you about white supremacy, I want that question. I don't want the off in the weeds answer you give me generally, like all this other stuff, Antifa, blah 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 blah.
Right.
I want to know, what will you disavow white supremacy?
He cracked me up with excuse me, sir, Mr. President.
Yeah, Mr. President.
But just for this being like, they've had many debates before this, but this is really getting to the nitty gritty of the campaign. Everything has led up to this. We are literally about a month away from the big election day. Yeah. And so what do you think, what can you tell us about good and bad about what both Trump said during this whole thing and Joe Biden? Everything good and bad on both sides.
Okay, well, we'll start with Joe, because I think there's a lot of things substantive that we could talk about. We could talk about the fact that he actually laid out an idea for policy as far as it goes, as healthcare, and the Affordable Care Act and all those things. I kind of feel like, I'm with a lot of people though, I kind of feel like nobody won in a way because it was bogged down. But I think ultimately that plays to me. I heard someone say, oh, well, that plays against Trump because he needs to make up a deficit, right? But also, Biden, I don't think Biden lost any ground last night. So even though he didn't technically win, I don't believe that he lost any voters that were probably going to vote for him anyway. I think there's a lot of undecided still. For me, because watching it from my point of view, I realized that for most of the evening, it was probably the people at home that are Biden supporters like, get him Biden, and then people like, oh, get him Trump. Typical, I don't necessarily know that there were people that were listening to what either one was saying, particularly on any level. And I don't know if that's once again, I feel like that's into Donald Trump's hands, because he wants to muddy the waters. He wants to distract you from what's actually being said.
Yeah.
As far as Joe Biden, though, he had some strong moments. The moment when he talked about bold military, he largely stayed on message. So coronavirus. You killed people, died because of blah 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 blah. Oh well, you wouldn't even made ventilators, or like really, you really think if he's president, he would have made ventilators, bro? Like, oh, I brought back to Big Ten football. Are you serious? Like, bro, like that's like a major accomplishment. I mean, I love Big Ten football, but I mean, what can you explain? Like, you were caught on tape by had you on tape saying, oh, they told me what was going on, but I chose to embellish what actually was happening. Like, how can you get beyond those things? And the people were really listening. I think he stayed on that. He got a little rattled when he talked about his son, as I expected.
That was a low blow, and it was a distraction. Yeah. And, the way he came back was, I'm glad he, because they're men, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's like, I've worked so hard to do all these things that I've done. And, for him to bring up his son that passed away and everything like that, and he does, in a sense, insult the military and everything.
All the time.
What he said right there. And then he tried to say that the way Biden said it was, I didn't say it like that. No, you pretty much, you did say that.
To even say that.
Why would you, you're the leader of the military. Why would you, even if they are feeling low or whatever he said. However he said it, he didn't. I don't think he exactly said losers, but he basically said losers. And even if they feel that way, appear that way, you are a leader.
Yeah.
You don't tell your people, your employees, people that support you, how pathetic they are, or whatever. And that's, for you to even say that is bullcrap anyway.
It's like the staffer that was working for them, and she was on the coronavirus task force the entire time. And so she comes out and says, oh, well, Donald Trump was like, oh, great. I don't have to talk to these or touch these dirty people. Like, I don't have to shake hands now. So it's terrific that we can't have rallies because I don't have to actually rub elbows with common folk. And that tells you a lot. Like, I don't believe, like, it's different if you have all these wide-ranging stories about this, that, and it's so caught in nuance. But when you talk about Donald Trump and what he's done and what he says, it's a very standard pattern of how he attacks certain things, certain people, certain socioeconomic levels. Like, he does that. And so when he says something, I know when he said it. Like, I don't have to know what he said or even get the exact phrasing. I know he said something about that.
He's got like an autopilot for everything, and all of his autopilots it's just standard responses. He literally he's so textbook like, I'm full of it. Or
well. You'll see my taxes when the audit is done. And then Joe said, when will that be? July of next year?
Speaking of the taxes, what did you say? What was the quote? Like what you said before we started?
About what? Which one?
Or the amount of taxes that.
$750, bro. For real, $750. I know how much income tax I pay. I pay a lot of income tax, bro, and I don't make that
way more than $750. Especially over the past couple years. Like,
I'm talking about triple numbers. And come on now, bro. Like, how are you paying less than me and I don't make nearly as much money?
Bro.
And to me, like, I don't understand in my mind, like, how does that equate to leadership, equate to every other president before this guy, even though they necessarily weren't mandated to, say, okay, I'll show you my taxes because I'm a man on the up and up. You have multiple reports. You have all these different things going on that show that this man isn't on the up and up. And people willfully decide to push that to the side, and I don't understand why.
Well, and he also he gave examples about how he gave 22,000 here, 100,000 there, and but that's not that's not your tax return, and you're just making excuses and everything.
And Joe Biden called it out though. He said, he could have paid that much, but that's why it's a loophole. Like, I can pay these different amounts of money, but that doesn't equate to the same thing as me paying my actual taxes. Like, I can find a way to get around all these taxes because the fact is that largely amount of that money probably was returned to him through some type of tax break.
Exactly, that's what it is. That's what the rich do. They'll put money here. They'll raise money here and raise money there and invest over here because they know that they're going to get the money.
That money's insured, or either I'm going to catch a tax break because of the money that I donated. So either way,
as a matter of fact, wherever they donate the money or invest, they know that they're going to get it back. It's a guarantee. So, and it's never going to be the minimum amount of return back. It's like, I'm going to get back 100-fold whatever I'm putting out there.
Definitely,
and that's the only reason that they're donating.
And so that's my thing, like, and I don't have a problem with that, but don't try to sell me that you're this altruistic, wonderful person, and ultimately your only goal is to, and I found it very stark and very funny that they said, like, basically his whole job was to sell the fact that he was a billionaire to fund the fact that he was a billionaire, even though he's not really a billionaire or even though he's not really a millionaire. He sold you this bill of goods to fund him doing this, that, and the third. Him funding this fake reality life so that people would, he's a conglomerate. No, it's a small family business that is doing terrible. That you see just over the last couple of days that has lost billions of dollars and continue to find a way to generate money and funds. And then I heard someone say the worst thing, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist, so I don't really like to do that. But like you said, one of the worst things is that I know that you got this sold up enough for me. But like, how do you trust this man leaving office, being president, knowing what he knows about the president, and the fact that he's leveraged, most of his money is leveraged at this point in time. So when you think about that, like, what happens when all this money comes to him? He needs money. Like, will he sell secrets? Can you trust him not to sell secrets?
He wins regardless. It's like Trump is almost, he's damn near a textbook villain.
Yeah, definitely.
He's like, anyway though,
I'm glad
he hell Hydra as hell. But I'm glad you brought that up about him getting out of office and how that's almost even more dangerous than him staying in there.
Yeah.
And I want to bring up the quote of a newly famous quote that Joe Biden said, that you are the worst president of all time.
Of all time.
He said it so bluntly, so easily, and it's so true. It's what everyone's thinking. But, Trump still remains in there. Yeah. And, one thing I want to talk about, because before the whole debate got started, they were interviewing a couple moderators and everything, and Rahm Emanuel, I call him Rahm Emanuel, the former mayor of Chicago. he mentioned some really good things, just about how Trump's been doing this thing for about 4 years now, and it's come to a point where he has his reputation. And he has to clean up his reputation, because a lot has happened over this 4-year time span, and he doesn't really he's not like known as the nice guy, nice fair guy, So he's got to kind of come with he's got to chill out basically. And would you say that he saved himself that sympathy vote?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like he saved that. Like I think talking about Joe Biden.
No, I'm talking about Trump.
Yeah, I think definitely. Because the way he's attacked certain he's attacked certain populations, especially even last night. Like my thing is, like, when you talk about Joe, this is my thing. This is how I see politics. Okay, you look at a career of a person. You look at Joe Biden. Like he tried to say, the bill that he made in 1992, right? The crime bill, right? And I tell people, when you look at politics and you look at policies, you look at them in a vacuum, right? You look at the time period, you look at the expectancy of what will happen, you look at who's in power, you look at who's not. And during 1992, you had a Congress that was controlled by largely the Republicans. And so you had a Senate, so you had a party divided. And so you had these different things. You had these different things. And it's a give and take. And so what I can say is, yes, there were the super predator, Hillary Clinton, all that stuff. Bill Clinton, the president that we love so much. He was an advocate of this super predator. His wife was pushing the message for this super predator. A democratic liberal agenda that was not very democratic or liberal. But I don't know you've seen the documentary about the amendment. I can't remember the name of it. It's on Netflix though. About how at one point in time that was the way he's trying to do the stoking of the fear in the 90s and the 80s, and that's what Reagan did, and that's what early Bill Clinton, even though him being the liberal, had to do. So we can talk more about it. Definitely in the next. Yeah, we can finish it up.
We're definitely going to continue this conversation in part 2.